For the next 8 minutes or so, I want to discuss with you this word innovation and what it really means to AECOM. When you hear and see the word innovation, many things come to mind. Incremental, invention, patents, creative, ideas and better design are just some of the words that pop into our minds. It also has some negative connotations, buzzword. And when you think of innovative companies, the usual suspects are mentioned. Apple, Samsung, Twitter. Sometimes even AECOM is thought of as innovative. During my time working in the innovation space, I've seen that the word means many things to many different people. Everyone, it seems, has a different definition of it. And I feel it is this that drives a lot of confusion around what does innovation mean. If we cannot agree on what it is, how can we recognise it when it actually happens? How do we actually get people to do more of it? So with this as a backdrop, I wanted to come up with a definition that was simple, yet broad enough to include all the different thoughts on what innovation is. Innovation equals ideas plus action that aims to add value. This definition covers the entire spectrum of innovation, from the invention and the patents to the incremental improvements. All types of innovation starts off with a spark, an idea, then someone does something in the hope that it will lead to an improved outcome. However, this definition is not above any criticism. Feedback such as dumbing down and being too broad has been suggested. I prefer to use the word simplify. So if this is a definition of innovation that is accepted, what do we do next? Most of us want to do more of it. How can you and I be more innovative? The way the definition is written, it is pretty easy to raise the level of innovation. To increase one side of the equation, we need to do the same thing to the other side. Therefore, to increase innovation, we have three options. We could add even more value. Geez, a bit hard to measure in all seriousness. We could do more action and work longer. That's not my preferred method. Or we could just have more ideas and not be afraid to share them. It is such a simple way to increase innovation. There really is no need to attend external courses. There's no need to have the latest software or buy an iPad. Just get your ideas out there. But what stops us with getting our ideas out there? In the past, when I've spoken to project managers and client-facing staff, what they tell me is the client doesn't want it, costs too much, it's too risky, it's out of scope, or it'll take too much time. But are these really barriers to ideas? Just think about it. These are only perceptions. These can be and should be challenged. So if these are not real barriers to getting our ideas out there, what is it? What's holding us back? Fear. Fear of what others will think. Fear of how people will react. Just plain fear of not looking our best. Let me give you an example here. Some time ago, due to the location of its iron ore stockpile and its proximity to the coast, which is a world-class windsurfing environment, the client wanted to build a shed over the stockpile to stop the iron ore dust spreading out over the town. During a workshop, we looked at different solutions that would result in a great outcome. However, the project manager thought there was another way but was apprehensive to get the idea out there. An internal facilitator was brought in to challenge the group's thinking, and during the 2-hour workshop, the following question was asked. Ignoring the scope of the work, what is really the problem here? Someone, who was brave enough, mentioned that the client was trying to stop dust getting on the town. So if this is the problem, what options are there to stop dust? So a windbreak was mentioned. Build a hill with some trees on top. It stops wind. It is cheaper. Isn't that a great result for the client? The project manager recognised that this was different to the scope of work that we had won, and instead of disregarding this idea, the project manager had a discussion with the client about this possible option. So the moral of this real AECOM example is never being afraid to suggest something that you think has some benefit. Don't be afraid to talk about half-finished ideas. Now, I am sure we have all had that experience when you have an idea and when you tell someone the outcome is not as good as expected. You may get laughed at. If I came running to you with a half worked out idea at 5 p.m. on a Friday night when you were packing up, I reckon that no matter how open you are or how great the idea is, the outcome would not be positive. Your mind is already in the weekend. Now, if I saw you at the same time and said that I had an idea that I'd like to get your opinion on sometime next week, I reckon the outcome will be better. Pick the right person, pick the right place, pick the right time. Because if you have an idea, what do you really want? No matter how good the idea is, someone is always going to ask if it comes in black. If you have an idea, deep down all you want is someone to listen to you. Thinking it will be automatically adopted is unrealistic. And if you do hear an idea, and ideas are heard in all places, in a meeting, in a car, or at the coffee machine, there is a good way and a bad way to react. Give the idea generator some encouragement, and actually listen to it, and comment truthfully. If you think it's going to cost too much or take too much time, say so. By quickly shooting down the idea generator, you'll never get another idea from that person ever again. Imagine that, an AECOM without ideas. And remember, all this will lead to better outcomes and a better place to work for all of us. We all want that. In the book Make It Stick by Chip and Dan Heath, there is a summary of research that was done about health promotion in the US. They hypothesised that health programs did not work because it's all too confusing. What does be healthy mean? Eat less fruit? Do more exercise? More vegetables? What type of exercise? What type of fruit? How often? It's all too confusing. What the researchers did was analyse what people were eating. Their analysis always came back to milk. They hypothesised and proved that all people had to do was just do one thing: drink 1% milk. They could keep everything else the same, but just change their milk choice. That was the key for this community to become healthy. So, when people are asked to become more innovative, it is all too confusing. Do they need iPads? Need to have a black turtleneck? Do something? Invent something? So my 1% milk story is this. They just need to start saying something along the lines of, I've got an idea. It's not perfect, but what do you think? This means they start talking about their idea, they talk to others about it, and they're asking for feedback. This is how we become innovative. It is oh so simple.